Welcome to another episode of the Terry and Frank Show. We are going through all of these unproductive personality types, people unproductive. So last week, I don't know if you saw the episode, we were talking about the narcissist. This week, we're doing the needy person. Could be an employee working for you, it could be a coworker. Next week, we're going to do the hero. These are these esteem seekers who show up every time there's a problem or cause them and try to solve them. So that's a good episode. I've run into both. But you should be aware that these personality types all exist. And when you can spot them and understand what they are, you're much better equipped to deal with them. So
Yeah.
Terry, let's talk about these needy people. What do you want to say to describe them to begin with?
So these people that they have this underlying need for support in every area, and it's a constant need. It's not one, everybody goes through periods where you need support. There's nothing wrong with needing support. This isn't that kind of person that we're talking about. This person that we're talking about is the one that, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, they're back at your desk. They need more support, more help. They just can't seem to figure out anything on their own. You need to tell them every single step to do, and they constantly come back for more and more support. Those are the needy people that we're talking about. And that's just an unhealthy level of support, to be so codependent on someone else that you cannot do anything on your own. That's
Yeah.
just really an unhealthy level.
Really unhealthy. And the reality is that everybody needs support at some level. It's unusual
Right.
that nobody
That's
needs support, especially when you have somebody new come on board. Everybody should support them and help them be successful. But
right.
it becomes evident quickly if you work with enough people that this person is a special case. They're very needy. And
Yes.
that's who we're talking about today, right? These very needy people who are sometimes very dependent personalities. They want to latch on to somebody.
Right. And you get the feeling that they're literally sucking life out of you.
Yeah,
So in the beginning, you feel like, oh, yes, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to share what I have. Most people want to be a help to others. But then you get to a point where you can't get your work done because of the needy person that comes every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, and they're asking you another question, or they're sending you a chat message, or they're
yeah,
just reaching out to you constantly. And so it's that when you start to get that feeling like, wait a minute, this is crossing a line. I can't get anything done because I'm constantly answering questions all day. I'm
yeah.
constantly hand holding someone through things that they should be able to do on their own. And that's
Right.
when you get that flag to say, wait a minute, this is a little bit more than just a new person needing help, or this person that, maybe be in a different department or may have a different role than I do. This is more than them just being curious or just needing a little bit of help to get going.
Yeah, and it's very good to try to analyze what's going on and, label kind of what the need is. So as a boss, these people sometimes are coming to you all the time. They want to check in. They never want to make a mistake. And oftentimes you've just got to find out and ask some questions about, listen, hey, let me ask you, am I requiring too much of your attention? You can reverse it. You seem to be checking in all the time. I really like when people can operate independently. I don't like to feel you got to check in with me all the time.
Right. I want to make sure you have all the resources you need, but I want you to have enough liberty to feel like you can do things on your own, that you
That's
can
right.
make the assignment your own. I'm giving you the assignment, but I don't have to give you every single step to complete the assignment.
Yeah, and since they're needy, one thing you don't want to do, especially for the boss, is reject them,
Yeah.
right? Because they're already needy. So, that's
Yeah.
gonna set them off completely.
Yeah, they're super sensitive. So these are
Yeah.
hypersensitive people that, feel like the world is against them. Nobody is there for them. Everybody is attacking them. And a lot of times it's just people trying to hold them accountable and they don't want to do it.
Mhm.
They have that needy personality type that has just made them so sensitive to criticism that they'll do anything they can to make sure that people like them,
Mhm.
that people are there for them, and they don't mind coming back and forth constantly. They don't mind doing that because that's where they thrive in just constantly getting that help and support. But you want to be able to wean that person off of you as their support system, because it gets to be so unhealthy that it could affect your own work performance. It could affect your health, your mental status, your
Yeah.
mental health. All of that is impacted by having these types of people around you that just are, again, just literally sucking life right out of you.
Oh, yes. If you're an easy mark, they'll take all they can get.
Yeah.
Actually, it will cause your performance to suffer because
Yeah.
they're going to take too much of your time, and you've got things you got to get done. I
Yes.
remember early in my career managing, somebody got transferred over to me, and they were checking in constantly. And I sat down, had a conversation, was like, listen, you're checking in on everything. What's going on? I found out they had worked for a micromanager. That's the way they were trained. They weren't supposed to go do anything without checking in. I said, oh, we don't work that way here. I want you to just go do it. So sometimes, it's not necessarily they're just a bad person. They're just been trained badly because they work for the wrong type of person. So
Right.
be aware that that can happen too.
Yeah. Or it could have been something from their childhood,
Mhm,
They developed this unnatural attachment to a parent and the parents got divorced,
mhm.
or, something happened to them as a young child and they just never recovered from it. And so now they need that acceptance and that belonging. They
Mhm.
need it in an unnatural way. It's too much. It's excessive. It's like that obsession with having people accept me and acknowledge me. That is just too much. So there's a healthy level of that where everybody wants to feel
Mhm.
needed and accepted and that feel like they belong. That's a healthy process. But this person is overly sensitive to every
Yeah.
single thing. And they feel like everybody is against them. And no, it's like the woe is me kind of thing where they just constantly need that support and attention.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about what it is and how to spot these kind of people, recognizing who they are, what do you think about how to deal with that person?
Well, I think one of the first things you have to do is say, I've got a needy person. I think you've got to start to reflect on who they are and see if you could try to understand what the cause of neediness is. It really helps to talk to them about it in a way that's not blame oriented.
Yes.
See if you can understand what the source of this need and struggle is. Sometimes people have legitimate, struggles. They didn't get any training. They get thrown into these jobs. They didn't get the training, proper onboarding, and they need more support. And that could be a problem with the company or the assignment they were given. Things are very unclear. So it's good to know what the cause is. It doesn't necessarily mean they're just a bad, needy person, although there's plenty of those around,
Right.
you know?
Right. And another thing you can do is really set some healthy boundaries with that person.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier just about kind of flipping it back around to them. I see that you're coming to me a lot. I want to make sure you have what you need.
Mhm.
So, what else can I do to help make you more self sufficient? What other tools can I give you? What other things do you need? Do you feel like you're not getting enough support? Maybe we can talk about who else can help with bringing you up to speed or whatever it is. Sometimes you just have to set that boundary to let the person know it's not going to be okay for you to continue to come and spend the whole day at my desk. i
Yeah,
I
definitely.
also have work assignments that I need to get done, so I have to say I'll have 10 minutes to help you or 15 minutes, but then I really do have to go on it because I have something else to work on.
Yeah, and everybody's role is to be supportive. You succeed together, but there are boundaries. The boundaries have to be drawn. You can't come to me 10 times a day. I'm happy to help you, but you've got to be able to figure things out on your own. And as a leader, you've got to be tuned into your team. If you see this type of situation evolving, you do need to get involved. You got to intervene and try to find out what the source of neediness is. If it is training or incompetence, you got to know. You just have to understand exactly what's going on because it's not going to go away on its own unless the person is literally just drowning because they got given too much and they're going to work their way out of it. I tend to think that's not it. Um, you know, if somebody is needy and they're getting zero attention, right? Because that can happen too. They're just thrown in and they need some attention that's legit. then I think you should carve out time to get them what they need in the beginning so they get up to speed and get comfortable. Because some people just are needy because they didn't get any attention in the workplace.
Right.
And that's another type of problem.
Right, right. You want to set the person up for success, right? So you want to give
Yeah.
them all the tools and have the right people train them so that they learn from the best, that they have all the information that they need.
Mhm.
But at some point, that person has to be able to walk on their own in order to be a functional part of the team, a functional member
Yeah.
of the team.
That's right, and that's the conversation. Look, we're gonna get you what you need to succeed. Here's what I believe you need. This is what the others have needed to succeed. If you think something's missing, let's talk about it. And then it starts to really put the accountability where it belongs with them. And that's
Right,
ultimately what has to happen. And you can't neglect the fact that they might just be in the wrong job. They got into a job, they're not well suited for it. They want to try to do it because they've got a lot of bills and they've got to hang on. And listen, they've got to find their way and they got to find something that they can do well because they're never
right.
going to have a good life doing something they're terrible at.
Right.
Mm,
That's exactly right. And you get a lot of self esteem from doing your job well. So you want
mhm,
to make sure that the person is a good fit, that they're a good fit for the team, that they're a
mhm.
good fit for the job. So all of those are spot on,
Yeah,
exactly what you want to try to evaluate when you're in one of these situations with a needy person. Because, like you said, it could just be a bad fit, it could just not be the right job for that person. And that's
right.
okay. It doesn't mean that you're not good at anything. It just means that this may not be the best job for you. But hey, let's think about it and see if maybe we can transfer you onto another team or put you in a
Yeah.
different environment where you can be successful. Because ultimately, what we're trying to do is help that person be successful.
Help them solve their problem. Help them talk about what they need to succeed.
Right,
And, ultimately, if you're the leader, you're the coach. You're going to try to help them be their best, but you've got to understand who the players are in the team and who can actually play well and who can't, right?
right.
That's the
And
job.
that's the big point that you bring out about the leader being a coach and
Mhm.
not a boss.
Yeah.
Because coach is the one that's looking at the players, evaluating what
Mhm.
skills they have, and putting them in the right position so that the team can succeed.
That's right.
That's the coach's job.
That is
So
the coach's job.
think about it from a work perspective, which we rarely think about it like this, but that is very critical to understand what special tasks and special um, gifts that each of the people has on the team so that they can bring their best foot forward with every assignment. So identifying that is really, really the responsibility of the leader.
Oh, yeah. The whole notion of I'm the servant leader and I'm here to help everybody succeed, get them
Right,
what they need, and give the tough love when you have to, right? Because
right,
some people are just in the wrong role and they're going to be needy forever.
right.
Um, so Tara, anything else? I think this is pretty good. We're trying to cover these pretty quickly so people could tune in, and
Yeah. I think we're doing it really well. I think
I
we're
do
covering
too.
that topic well. And I think people, hopefully, they'll be able to see this and see that, here's how you identify these people.
Mhm.
Here's what you can do to work with this person, whether it's someone that's your peer or, you've got a leadership assignment and you recognize that one of the people on your team is a little bit more needy. These
Uh-huh.
are some of the things that you can do to help make that situation a little bit better for everybody.
Yeah, and all of these personality types have exaggerated needs in some area. The sociopath who needs to control everything, the narcissist who's just, needs to be great and needs all that esteem, and then the needy person. Now, everybody needs to be needed. I think we should be clear about that, right? Everybody needs to be needed, and I've seen people who were not feeling very needed do things where people could say, hey, wow, thanks for helping out, that was great. And as a leader, you should always try to recognize people for doing things so they feel that they're adding value and they know it, because humans do need to be needed, but they shouldn't be needy like this.
Right,
This is
right.
the problem, and that's where they're too needy, and
That's
it's an
right.
exaggerated version of a basic human need, and that's what we're talking about. That's what makes these people toxic and troubling,
Right.
right?
I think we have done this one again. I think
Right?
it's right on point.
Another great
Our
Terry and Frank
audience
show. People unproductive. So
Yes,
next week, the hero syndrome. They are real interesting characters, let me tell you.
yes, absolutely. Yes, set the fire and then come put it out.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I've had one of those over time. They're the most dangerous people. Many of
Yeah,
them aren't that bad, but they still cause trouble.
yes,
So we'll see you on the show next week, Tara.
yes. All right.
Till
Thank
then,
you for
all the
watching.
best, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.